It is another series episode of Marketing Mondays. We're 3 deep, so if this is your first one tuning in, so every Monday we share a session bringing on Andy, our brand director, to kind of discuss what's going on in the world of Tyler McBroom / measured results marketing, discuss what's working, what's not, where we're going, what's happening. So Andy, what's going on?
Another week.
As
you know, we have a lot of projects going on, so it's fun.
Yeah, cool. So what are we talking about first this week?
First is the 5 for 5.
Okay, yeah, so that was something we just started a couple days ago. So if you don't know, the 5 for 5, if you don't know, you should know. So the 5 for 5 is basically turn on post notifications on my Instagram account at Tyler McBroom, and if you like the post and comment within the first 5 minutes with hashtag #TaxSaver, you get a $5 gift card. So it's easy, $5. And so we're doing a couple weeks of everyone who comments within the first 5 minutes gets a gift card, and then we're gonna pull it back a little bit where we just pick one winner per post. But so as someone who's right in on the Instagram, why don't you share kind of what's been going on with that since we've launched it in the last few days?
Yeah, so obviously you have some people taking full advantage of the 5 for 5, which
knowing
is
that
awesome,
it's every post.
right?
Yeah, hey.
The engagement is spiking. People are loving it. I feel like people feel like they're a part of the community now.
Yeah.
As far as this is kind of like the first thing that we really started doing, where we're engaging the community or doing something that really involves them. And, it started pretty easy. Like you walked into the office one morning, it's like, hey, we should do this.
Let's do this. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, actually, so if you listen to I don't know, depending on when it airs, but I talked about a podcast on the difference between small business versus a big business, and that's the small business is literally, okay, I got an idea, implemented that afternoon. So
exactly.
Yeah, so anyways, keep continuing.
Yeah. So people are commenting and using the hashtag, and then we'll just reach out to get their email. But people are loving it. They're posting on their Instagram story as well, as you've seen.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really cool hack to kind of get the brand out there a little bit more and have some fun.
Yeah.
With the people that are, engaging.
Yeah, for sure.
With your account.
Yeah, it's been good, and it's a couple reasons behind it. It's good engagement, and then kind of the more nerdy technical side of it is, frankly, it helps with the algorithms on Instagram of getting more of the followers to see it on a regular basis if you get those comments within the first few minutes. And so that's a good reason for it. It's kind of cool to see who is lurking and who actually is seeing posts on a regular basis, which is cool, because when you post things on a regular basis, some people like it and they don't, but then seeing people comment, it's cool, even if it's just hashtag #TaxSaver.
Yeah.
So
the big one, again, back to them posting it on their stories when they win.
Yeah.
They're going out of their way to share with their
following.
Friends.
Yeah, and that was actually, I didn't even expect that to happen, because it's just us sharing the winners, but it's pretty cool that they'll share it on their story.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've gotten several people saying, you got to go follow this guy if you want to save money, or even just repost the story, which is cool.
Definitely.
So, and to bring value to anyone who's listening who is building an audience, I think something that has so far made it effective for us, though, is number one, getting to a point where you have a regular audience that's going to tune in that will comment on it, so that it's not just radio silence when you share it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've noticed, we started with 1 or 2 comment, and it seems like it's trending upwards as it continues to get. And
it's almost like our version of a giveaway. What it is in the sense where tag one person, like the photo, and that's an entry in a raffle to win a prize. And like you said, it's like once we build a little bit of a following and have some people kind of watching, it's kind of a way to, like you said, hack the algorithm, but also have fun with the people that are constantly engaging with you.
Well, and for those of you who've been following me for a while, you may or may have picked up on this, but I refer to everyone when I'm introing a video, hey, tax savers, or what's up, tax savers. And so that's kind of like the Grateful Dead has dead heads, Jimmy Buffett has parrot heads, and then you've got so this was something I learned from when I read Russell Brunson's book. I think it was Expert Secrets. He's got a couple of different books, but the one that I read was called Expert Secrets, and he talks about, as you're building an audience in a community, naming them something. So like Russell Brunson, if you don't know who he is, he owns the company ClickFunnels, and he's a marketing genius. But his following and the users of his product are called funnel hackers. And so that identifies, I am a funnel hacker. And so I think as we built this little bit of a community going on, I'm a tax saver kind of. Like I follow Tyler, and so therefore I'm saving on taxes. So I'm a tax saver.
Yeah.
And I'll be curious to see the and we won't really be able to measure this in any way, but the longevity of people who are on a daily, regular basis typing in #tax-saver. So now it's programming into their thumbs that they're a tax saver.
Exactly.
So it's kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, and it goes back to, I'm not sure if it's marketing or branding, where the customer identifies with your product. We saw it at one of the conferences that we went to, where one of the speakers was talking about when you're getting somebody to buy into your business, your brand, and really fully buy in, they want to identify with who is your customer. So like Nike, I'm an athlete, that's why I wear Nike.
Right.
And I think, subconsciously, I'm not sure, I definitely wasn't thinking about it in this sense, but you might have been, where, like you said, the tax saver, now they're starting to identify a little bit more with your brand and the Measure Results business.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just something that...
Yeah, so hopefully this will take it to that next level with the community. So, sweet. And then, so we might as well, anything else on the 5 for 5?
I think we covered it all on that one right now.
So we might as well announce, we don't have the website live yet. Well, we might I don't know, do you think the website will be live by the time this airs? Maybe not quite, but close. Okay. Well, we'll announce it anyways. So I've had a number of requests for especially CPAs and other accountants who follow me and follow our company. They feel like they need help with this social media stuff, specifically in the professional services side of things. So we've decided, per several requests, to start an additional service line under basically an inside company called McBroom Media. And we're going to be helping other professionals with their social media marketing and basically building exactly what we're trying to build through my content and Tax Savers University and Tyler McBroom on Instagram and Measure Results. And so if you are a CPA professional or any other in any profession, or frankly just need help with social media, feel free to reach out. We're starting to offer that as a service to others because people have said that they would like help with that. And so entrepreneurs, by definition, see a need and a gap in the marketplace, and then they find a way to fill it. So that's what we're trying to do here. So we had a call yesterday with a prospective client on helping them with their social media. And there were some good questions that he asked, and we had hopefully some good answers for him. And so I thought it would be good to kind of break down a little bit of those questions in a real life example. And so Andy, I'll kind of let you lead with the questions, and then we'll break them down on kind of what we discussed with it.
Yeah, and a lot of the questions, like you said, were like really good questions, and I think it'll be a good insight for the people listening because it's now it's from the business owner's perspective, like that mindset. I think this will be super valuable to the audience. One of the big questions that stuck out was this person asked, "How is social media affecting your business?" And then the follow up is, "How much time does it take?" I was thinking more of the timeline on when you need to see results. So we'll dive into that on part of this. So obviously, I guess maybe not obviously because the question was asked, but social media is positively affecting our business, and so we're kind of a growth culture anyways. It's normal for us to get new clients, and we're always in our weekly team firm-wide meetings sharing the new clients we got so that everyone knows who they are. But for us to be having that as a segment in our weekly meeting means we're adding new clients to the firm
each week. So we are, generally speaking, a growth-oriented culture anyways, but social media has only added to that, and especially now that it's kind of compounding. I would say it's not a linear growth, it's an exponential growth. It's like seems to be, as we're starting to really pick up some momentum on it, more of an L curve rather than a straight line. And so what I was sharing with the prospect on the call yesterday was that when I was first dabbling in it a couple years ago, when I was kind of sharing, we've shared in a previous episode about how I was kind of doing it myself and sharing maybe every couple weeks, and then I'd get in a rut or in a rhythm where I'd do it consistently, and then a rut where I'd go several weeks with nothing. During that phase, still doing pretty good and got, a few clients from it, basically probably a client every quarter or every couple of months or so. And now, almost a year into where we've hired someone, we brought Andy on to really focus on it so that even in the middle of tax season, daily posts are going out and there's a big focus on it. What was our annual results from it 2 years ago is now our monthly results from it, by being consistent, doing it right, and consistent. And that's one of the things you've talked about, how it's fun being a part of it, is we're actually giving you the creative license to do the social media right.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to do it right, you might as well. It's a waste of time.
Yeah,
you can spend your money better on direct mail or billboards. Because it's a time investment too.
Yeah. And back to depending on when people are listening to this, if they heard the podcast where you talked about a bigger organization versus a smaller one, having past experience in more of like an education background. The mindset is to have it more structured and controlled, once a week, maybe once a month, and
that seems like a lot to some people.
Yeah, and so being able to just say, just do your thing, and the cool thing too is that you also have a passion for this field and the platforms, so we're able to kind of just go all in on it.
Yeah,
so that's
and actually that dovetails right nicely into the next question on our little notes here, which is how much time does it take kind of out of my day and my schedule? Because still got a firm to run, right?
Exactly.
And especially for those accountants out there, this, there is a big focus on that billable hour and being in revenue generating time. And so I tend to think a little differently. I think this time it's tomorrow's revenue, whereas working on the tax return is today's revenue. But you still have to focus a decent amount of time working on the business and in the business. And so, excuse me, as far as time and cadence, why don't you talk a little bit to kind of how we structure our weeks and how that fits into what you do versus what I do, and then I can share and jump in.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just start off with the scheduling for filming and recording like this. We kind of come up with a day in the week. Right now it's Friday afternoons, but we look at your schedule depending on, if it's shifting, you'll let me know, you'll cancel on the calendar, and we'll just adjust from there. But it's once every week is like perfect world.
Yeah.
But once every 2 weeks is more.
Sometimes happens during the busy season, especially like right now, it's the corporate filing deadline week, and so it spaces out, and again, those every 2 week times kind of coincide probably with before we hired you, times there would just be no activity going on.
Yeah, exactly.
And so having you here to do that has kept the consistency.
Yeah.
So it really takes about an hour or two per week or every 2 weeks of my time.
Yeah, and then after that, you're running the business, and then I'm focusing on getting the content out, and kind of back to probably a majority of our audience that are like professionals and business owners. There's very few to none people that are like the Jake Paul personalities that are their sole job is to create the content.
Right.
Usually everybody has something that generates money outside of it and it just supplements it.
Especially if you're just getting started.
Yeah.
You're not just going to open an Instagram account and just get checks raining in,
Exactly.
So maybe a couple years down the line, once you've diligently posted every day 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're still running a business, and so that's been definitely huge.
Yeah, and the other thing that that I guess takes time out of the day that I've noticed is more so on the more detailed captions. Good thing we've kind of done the back work already on like logs of like content, and I kind of got a sense of your voice. But there's just some where just it doesn't beat getting the person just.
And tax laws change.
Yeah.
So making sure that you were staying current on the valuable information. You know, if it's a specific tax description on how to handle something, making sure that we're reviewing it and correct. And exactly. So that's. Sometimes I forget, and then you have to reschedule them.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I remember within 5 minutes of the post.
Yeah.
But Hootsuite doesn't let you schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't let you change it within 5 minutes. They say sorry.
Yeah.
It's going.
And that's where having that backlog, you just okay.
Yeah. Okay. Swap. Yeah. Exactly. So, and the next question was how long it took before starting to see new business coming in. So I mean. I've mentioned this before, but I've been doing it for 2 to 3 years now as far as posting. It's my first video on Facebook with I think it was probably a flip cam, an old flip cam with terrible audio and video was probably 2 or 3 years ago. And so we got a few clients here and there, like I said, maybe a couple a year from it, but then decided to go all in about a year ago. And even then, so we were getting a couple every couple months, a lead or two every couple months in the first few months, but really after about 7 or 8 months is when it really started rolling. And then so you've got to be comfortable with making that investment and that commitment. I remember, actually you don't even know this, but I was talking with Mike Ficonti, who, if you don't know him, you should go follow him and you'll get healthy because he's a trainer, Gary Vaynerchuk's old trainer. But I was emailing with him and mentioning that I was looking at, bringing on a full-time person. And I said, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it for at least a year. And he was like, that's bold, man. Yeah. But that's what it takes, that commitment. And I'm dyed-in-the-wool Gary Vee fan, so I know that it's a long-term investment. Making sure that other people at the firm buy into it is takes convincing, but if you're not mentally committed to it for a year, don't even bother starting. Yeah. Because it's going to take at least, if you're doing it wrong, which is every couple of weeks, maybe a couple times a week, here and there, it's going to take a long time to see dividends. If you're doing it right, it still takes 8 or 9 months. Yeah. So it's good to know, keep it in mind when you're going into this. So, yeah. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on. Not having that commitment for like a long period of time, I think we would have never gone from, because our primary focus was vlog at first, like we mentioned, and then realizing, okay, let's go this other route where we still do all these different platforms where we're focusing more on tax tips, and then I think it was like 3-4 months ago when we said, okay, Instagram and podcast is like the focus, and then that is just like those little adjustments that you learn as time goes on that kind of
get your cadence and get your voice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and what works, and then you go, okay, that works. Let's do it. Yeah. 5 for 5. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, exactly. So it takes a while to figure all that stuff out. So, and that's what's helpful about doing it on a regular, ongoing basis. Next question, I'll start with this one, which is how you deal with the volume of new business calls coming in along with the new work. Frankly, that's more of a business management question. But if it's anything, my answer on this one yesterday was, well, we started 2017 with 4 employees total, and we're now at 15. And so, in a service business, to do more service, you need more people to do the service. And so there's other challenges in growth, in having a lot of growth and fast growth that we're working through and getting coached on and mentored on. And so frankly, it's by leveraging out other people to do the work so that you can continue to do the highest and best work, which is lead and grow the business if you're a business owner out there. And then let's see, what was the other one? How did you start the process of building your personal brand from the beginning? Well, I've touched on this one, but I'll recap. And basically started off just grabbing an iPhone, or maybe it was a flip cam. I can't remember exactly what it was, but and just hitting that record button and starting doing some tax tips. And I like to think, well, actually, as some of you know, if you follow me on Instagram, it started even further back on that flip cam back in grad school, doing Honky Tonk Tyler, doing beer and country music reviews. So that's how it really started, which is, I just like being in front of the camera. So I recorded and I put it out on YouTube. They're unlisted now, so you can only get them by following me at Tyler McBroom on Instagram. But that's basically it, you know, kind of dabbling, figuring out things, what do you enjoy talking about, and just getting started it. And maybe, you know, we went to the 10X Growth Conference. Grant Cardone talked about how they do roll calls on sales before they hit their sales calls each morning, or role play, not roll calls, role play where they practice, because you don't want to practice on real money. I think doing things like what I did with the Honky Tonk, and maybe if you like talking about tea, but you're in the auto business, start a little side thing where you're talking about tea for a little bit, and you get your heebie-jeebies out, and you get your fear of the camera out, and you get comfortable with it, so you're not practicing on real money. But even still, just start, because you're not really practicing on real money when you're just starting, because you're going to have 3 people watching it. So that's how I started the process of building it, is just starting it.
Yeah.
So, I think that's about it as far as on the McBroom Media side of the call we had yesterday. I thought just had some really good conversation, so wanted to share that for you. A little bit of if you follow Gary Vee, you know, jab, jab, right hook. So a little bit of a right hook. If you want help with your social media, building that as a personal preference or personal brand, especially if you're a professional, feel free to reach out. Would love to talk to you about that. Next, let's talk about spreadsheets. So there's kind of a joke inside our firm that there's a spreadsheet for that, because we're a CPA firm, so of course we have a million spreadsheets for everything. When Andy joined our company last year, he had no idea how familiar with spreadsheets he would get. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so like Tyler said, didn't really use spreadsheets too much. I'd use them here and there for a couple of like part-time jobs and internships, just as a way to keep track of content. But being a little bit, I guess you would say a little bit arrogant, or being a typical
millennial,
young kid out of college, I don't need that.
I'm a millennial too, by the way, so I'm allowed to say that.
But just a little bit of that young kid overconfidence. And before I knew it, I found myself using spreadsheets to keep track of everything, because it just helped put structure to the chaos of what is like social media. Mm-hmm. You're putting up content all the time. There's captions, like you said. We're doing 2 to 3 posts a day, mm-hmm. So that's a lot of just words, different creative. And before you know it, like you're a couple months in and you have all this content. And you don't even know, I don't even know if we posted this.
Yeah.
Everything kind of gets jumbled together. Mm-hmm. So having spreadsheets and creating that log and structure to everything is helps tremendously, mm-hmm. And more so also starts prepping for once the team starts growing, and mm-hmm. the McBroom Media side of it too, actually having a structure behind mm-hmm. the social media stuff, mm-hmm. and a lot of it having to do with the spreadsheets and creating kind of workflows in that mm-hmm. sense for putting out content and actually adding a structure to mm-hmm. it.
And then not just on the content scheduling side of things, but also the analytics of. Yeah. So one thing we've been looking at is how many DMs lead to a lead to a sale. Yeah. And so we do KPIs here at Measure Results, and one of Andy's KPIs is how many DMs are we getting through Instagram, and so we track that each week, and we've basically gone through the last 6 months and said how many DMs have we gotten, and how many leads have that been, and how many dollars in revenue and new sales does that lead to. And so you've got to track that somehow. And so using spreadsheets to track analytics, marketing is the creative side, but it's also the analytical side, because you got to know where you're spending your money and what results you're getting from it, so that you can take, I've talked before about spending your time in its highest and best use as much as possible. You also want to spend your marketing dollars in its highest and best use as possible. So if you can take $100 and turn it into $100,000 versus $100 that turns into $150, that's where you want to focus your dollars. So you don't know that unless you're tracking it. So
exactly.
Spreadsheets for the win.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, with the analytics part, seeing kind of depending on whatever our goals for that quarter are, seeing what we can do to hit those numbers. Because one week could be a high quote unquote engagement week with a lot of likes and maybe like comments, but mostly like the likes part, 'cause that's like the main thing that people look at. But no DMs. Then we look at, well, it depends obviously on the company's goals. But right now we're really tracking DMs. So if our likes are low but our DMs are just off the charts,
then that's what's going to translate into real business results rather than, and that's the difference between providing kind of fluff content that gets likes and real valuable content tailored to your audience that brings them value. Is there's going to be a narrower group of people that are going to hit the like button, but those people are the ones that matter. And so thinking about, is this post truly